Good morning.
Now, the last time I saw you, you were playing the role of a priest because, Corbin, I have to tell you, every day for the past 5-7 years now, my wife and I watched The Young and the Restless. Every day. And
Right.
for years, you would make these periodic appearances on the show playing the role of a priest. And it was not until my wife told me not too long ago that your mother was Jeanne Cooper, the great Jeanne Cooper.
Right.
Young and the Restless, 30 years
Right.
she was on that show.
She was. And then when she passed away, they asked me, they said, would you like to come and play Father Todd, this is the character that I play, and would you like to come in and officiate her services, Catherine Chancellor's services? And, of course, it's interesting because she was on the show for so long. I felt and they felt there's a responsibility. You can't just, have the actress pass away and not deal with it.
Right.
So what is they're figuring it out? They knew they wanted to have a great episode for they dedicate a park in Genoa City to her. But they need somebody to officiate. And they asked me, Father Todd, would you like to come and officiate Catherine Chancellor's memorial? And I said yes right away. I didn't really think about it. And then the day that I went and did it, it was so bizarre because it was still very fresh. I think it was within a month of her passing, not sooner, 3 weeks maybe. All the actors, I remember, were in this huge set, the set that took up an entire soundstage, which I found so appropriate because she filled that soundstage for so many years. In this park that they created is her park, dedicated to her. And all the actors, everybody's there who's been on the show, and even some who came back. They're all crying, and real crying. There's pictures of her all over. I'm the one who's got to hold it together. And it was really, really strange, because I'm thinking, I'm the one who wants to let loose here and be bawling, and I'm going to have to keep the smile on everyone's face. It was a bizarre day, but it was very cathartic, and it was a beautiful way that they dealt with it.
It really was. My wife and I were saying this, that here you are playing the role of the priest for your mother's character, 30 years on The Young and the Restless, and she was so beloved, like you said, by all of these other actors and actresses, that they really were, and you really were, having a service for your mom as much as you were for the character.
Oh, very much so. When you have her picture around like that, and you got to remember that that 30 years, she was 84 when she passed. So it's almost half her life that she played this character. So, look, clearly she was my mom, and she was Jeanne Cooper, and she was a real person and not Catherine Chancellor. But she spent a lot of days on that soundstage being that character, and so it was a memorial for her.
Speaking with Corbin Bernson, of course, the big break, L.A. Law in the mid-'80s, but you played in one of my favorite movies growing up. I'm 40 years old, so I think you know where I'm going with this.
The Major League?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Sports Illustrated did a 25th anniversary of it last year. I enjoyed reading that so much. One of the things that they talk about in that article is there was a scene in the movie where your character, Roger Dorn, approaches Charlie Sheen's character, Wild Thing, there on the mound, and you punch him for sleeping with your wife or something to that effect, and the rumor is that you actually punched him in the face.
I think I came close. I just did the last episode of Anger Management with Charlie, his sitcom. And, we're both reminded of that. And, first, it was the end of the movie. I didn't already perch on that. It was the end of the movie when we've all won. And I come up and when I come up to the mound, I basically hand him the ball and I say, strike this mother out, When we win the game is when I walk up, slug him, pick him up from the ground. I think I grazed his face. I'm not sure how that story got going. It sounds good, so I'll let it be that, sure, why not? And I know, it came close. We don't remember the moment, but, you're so excited. I mean, literally, it was the climax of the movie. So, I think we came close. I think I grazed him. I didn't cold cock him, that's for sure.
Well, the fact that you were on his show recently means that you probably kept a relationship over the years. So when Charlie had his, let's call them issues, a few years ago, is that someone that you would reach out to and text or call and say, hey, what's going on?
I did it. It was I hadn't talked to him for a while, and it was deep in the middle of the meltdown.
Yeah.
And I was sitting up at my mom's house, oddly enough, and my kids said, if there was something on the news, I guess my kid said, why don't you call him up and see what's going on? I don't even know if his number works anymore. I doubt it. And, went into my phone, found my contacts, and hit Charlie. And sure enough, he answered. And, I basically just said, look, I'm here for you. Charlie is a decent guy. He's a good guy. Certainly his, some of his issues, got the better of him during that period. He's a good, decent guy. And even in the middle of the meltdown when I was talking to him, I could tell he was thankful that I called. And, and I just said, if you need me, I'm here. Charlie's one of those guys who will come anywhere for anybody who really, needs help. He's a guy who would never leave anybody in the cold. And he is that way with work. He never, for all the years of all the things he's done, he was always there. I mean, and right in anger management, the 100th episode, the last episode, just there, knew what he was doing, fresh, very good. I think he's a remarkably talented guy.
Speaking with Corbin Bernson, now I ran into Charlie Sheen at the Baseball Hall of Fame inductions a few years ago when Barry Larkin got in. He's a huge Reds fan and surrounded by his entourage, and seems like an interesting character for sure. You not only played the baseball role, but you played ball in school. I hear you were a very good ball player. Have you ever been to Cooperstown to the Baseball Hall of Fame?
No, I have not, and it's still one of my things I want to do. It's on my list.
Yeah, it's a must-see, especially induction weekend every July. And before I let you go, little-known fact I found out about you, Corbin Bernson has one of the largest snow globe collections in the world. What's that about?
It's just something I started doing LA Law. People, give you souvenirs every time you go somewhere and promote a film, or in that case, LA Law. People say, oh, here, welcome to our town. Here's a snow globe, St. Louis. I think St. Louis might have been the very first one I ever got. And by the end of LA Law, I had about 25 of these things. I had about 50 hats from TV stations and T-shirts and jackets. But I had these snow globes. Somehow it caught fire and it built to the point that I have 8,000 of them now.
Where do you keep 8,000 snow globes?
Well, right now they're in boxes. I had at my office that I just moved out of. It was beautifully displayed, and right now I'm debating and trying to figure out what I want to do with it. I have a smaller office. I'm even considering donating it to a museum if somebody will sort of guarantee that they'll be taken care of. It's fun to have in the back room, but, they want to be shared, certainly when they're out, and all of them are out. So
dusting those has to be like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. As soon as you finish, you got to start again.
You don't want to be filling them with water every week.
Corbin Bernson, television, movies, soap operas, you've done it all. And now you're writing and directing your own faith-based films. The latest is a romantic comedy called Christian Mingle, the movie. It comes out on DVD today.
Yeah, this has been my sixth faith-based movie. And came up with this idea based around the world of online dating, and came up with a story about a girl who's looking for Mr. Right, looks all over and can't find him, and decides, there's got to be a good guy at Christian Mingle. She finds him, and one small problem, she's just not Christian. And so she starts to fake her way through it. She's somebody who has faith. So we actually were able to find an interesting tone with the character where she kind of thinks she's Christian, but she's not walking the walk, if you will.
The movie, again, is called Christian Mingle, the movie. It's out on DVD today. It gets the message across without being preachy, and it holds up as a romantic comedy that when I bring it home with a bottle of wine and watch it with my wife, I'll be the hero for the night.
Thank you for saying that, because my goal is to make a movie that is funny, is entertaining, is uplifting about the human spirit. I had a great comment on Facebook yesterday about it. A woman said, "I'm Jewish and I loved your movie." And I thought, great, that's wonderful.
And I've really enjoyed our time speaking this morning. Thanks so much for getting up early for us.
Thank you for enduring my grovelly early morning voice.
Thanks, man.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.